Hey geeks, 10 here, with another episode of Star Trek. Tonight is episode 19, The Squire of Gothos. This is one of my favorite episodes. I am super excited for this one. It's all about Trelene, and it's just a great episode in general. It's really fun, it's really interesting. I guess I should back up a little bit and just say, for the next generation, my favorite episode of Star Trek ever is Q. I've actually met John Delancey. I might post a picture of it in the comments. He's just my favorite character. I love him. I've bought every episode of Star Trek on DVD, and then on top of it, I actually went out of my way to get the Q collection. That's how much I love Q. So for the original series, it's not that much of a stretch for this to be my favorite episode with Trelene, because there's always been some conspiracy theories that Trelene was a Q, and there's always been the people that have fought against it, and no, he's not, he needs technology, and he's fallible, and whatever. That being said, I mentioned earlier that we've seen Charlie X, and Charlie had godlike powers. And then we saw Mitchell in the pilot episode where No Man Has Gone Before, who had godlike powers. And now we've seen Trelene, who has godlike powers. So it's kind of a reoccurring theme. So I think when we got to the next generation, Gene Roddenberry had already kind of thought out Q before. And I mentioned in the pilot episode, the second video I did, Peter David wrote a novel, which, for those that don't like his comics, I cannot stress enough how good this novel is. It's even Star Trek aside, it's just a well done novel. He did a novel called Q Squared, and it's all about Q, the Q that we all know and love, and it's about Trelene. Spoiler alert, it's about Trelene being a Q as well. And it's just a great novel. It's well done. It's split into three parts, A, B, and C. A is the universe that we all know and love. B is kind of the mirror universe, and that's where in the pilot episode we had the James R. Kirk and not James T. Kirk. And it's just a great novel, well written, and Trelene's one of the main characters, and you kind of see why he's not in full control of his powers. But it's a great novel, and in fact watching this episode has kind of inspired me to go back and reread it. So after I'm still traveling, I'm going to be traveling for the next 2 weeks, so after I get home, I'm probably going to reread the novel. It's so great. And watching this episode has kind of made me want to rewatch it. William Campbell played Trelene in this episode, and he did such a fantastic job. He's so over the top, but in the best way possible. He comes back later to play a Klingon. I won't get more specific than that because it's a very important role. But he's one of those actors, kind of like I mentioned with the actor who played Sarek, Mark Leonard, played a Romulan commander, and then he came back to play a reoccurring role, Sarek, a Vulcan. William Campbell played Trelene that one time, and then he's played a reoccurring Klingon again. But he's such a fantastic actor. He's so well done. It's kind of random, but it's kind of interesting. Once we get to the planet of Gothos and they go into the building, I never even noticed this before until today. They walk in the door and they look to the left and there's an alien, and they kind of jump and then they keep going. And it's the salt vampire from the Man Trap episode. I don't know why. I never noticed that before until today. Maybe it's because I'm watching each episode so close together in proximity. But I feel like this is a very underrated episode. Have you guys seen it? What did you think? I love this episode. I can't get enough of it. Tomorrow's episode is Arena, which I feel like all of you should know. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I feel like this is the second most popular episode of the original series. But yeah, for The Squire of Gothos. Have you guys seen it? What did you think? And I'll see you tomorrow.